it's Createful Christmas! Welcome to my channel, Createful Art. I would love to invite you to Createful Christmas. This is where I teach you how to create artwork centered around the theme Christmas. Today I'm going to show you how to paint this beautiful, easy Christmas tree painting. This is my 4th year doing Createful Christmas, so I have several Christmas art projects already for you to choose from. And from now on, we're going to be doing Christmas art projects into December. Here's how you can get access to all of these fun videos. Go to createfulart.com and there you will find Createful Christmas and how to sign up, and then you'll see all the Christmas art projects and the supplies that you need for them. I'm so glad you're joining me, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the bell next to it, and go tell your friends. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my flat brush. It's about the size of my finger, and I'm going to make a brown with the colors that I have. So this red, this dark red, and this green are going to make a brown. So if you just combine them. Okay. Right. So then you're going to make the trunk of the tree. Now I want to have room for my star. Okay, so I'm going to give it about this much room, and then I don't need to have it the brown trunk at the very tip. So I'm going to come down here. So I'm using the flat of my brush to get a nice line. And I'm going to just follow these edges, kind of copying them to make a parallel line going down the middle. Notice that I'm straight in the middle here. Okay. I'm going to bring my tree to about here, okay, because I want to have room for presents. And then I'm just going to thicken the tree like this, and most of this is going to be covered, so it's no big deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. I've never seen a trunk that is perfect. So I'm just thickening up. Okay. So I'm going to wash out my brush, and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so for this I'm grabbing my fan brush, and I'm just going to take my green here, and if you want to learn how to mix these colors up, go ahead and click right over here, and I have a video for that for my Createful Art members. Okay, so I'm going to start at the very tip of my tree, and what I'm just doing is I'm going from the middle and I'm fanning out. So I'm going to kind of make sure that my tip right here is going to be straight right where my tree comes. Okay, and then you just kind of fan out like that. Okay, and when you do the other side, okay, and then you can kind of make it long. Okay, and I like to have some chunks in there, and this is just a simple tree, so we're not trying to make it look realistic. We're just trying to get the appearance of a tree. So I'm going to use my fan brush to kind of wispy my way down this trunk. And I'm going to leave some of my trunk. And notice how I started over here on that one, because the branches will go right in front of that. So I started right on my trunk and then moved. Okay, and you kind of get a different look that way. Okay, you can make this as thick as you want. You can make the needles going up. Kind of helps sometimes because that looks a little more realistic to have some needles going up. So all I am is making sure my wisp is going up like this. Okay, I'm going to get that up there, and then I'm going to bring it up just a little bit higher. So where I stop my brush, you kind of get these little blob things. So just so you know that that's the cause of those. And I'm just going to leave them. There's no reason to get rid of them. Okay, I'm just going up with some of my things here. So My pine needles kind of go up a little bit. This is so easy. Just leave some gaps in between so you can see that trunk. So I did a level and then I'm moving on to this level. Go down and come up. Okay, and as you get down to the bottom, you're just going to get a lot thicker. Okay, and I'm just going to go this direction with my brush. Okay, and I'm just kind of going through, giving it another layer. Right, so see how simple that is? That is just one layer. That is just one color right there. Now what I want to do is I want to let this dry for a little bit. Okay, because when I add any layers on top, it's going to mix with that green that's wet if I don't let this dry. I'm actually going to come in here and add some white to my green just to make a little bit of a lighter green. Okay, and it's just barely. Okay, now I'm taking my round brush and this is just going to give a little bit of a different texture, and I'm going to come in here and let's see, a little bit lighter because you can't see it. You got to have a different amount of value here. Oh, I added some gold to it. Okay. The gold's a little close. Okay, so you got to have it enough that you can see. And I'm just going to dab it on top right where it's super green. Okay, and you can also take your flat brush for this. Just depends on what the effect you're getting with your brush and how you're able to work with it. So I'm going to kind of come in here and see how this one works. Okay, so you can barely see it, but what it is it's just going to give that realistic layer some more dimension into your work here. Okay, I'm going to grab this top thing so I can kind of see the value a little bit better. Okay, and you can use your fan brush for this if you find that you want to just use that. But I just want to have a little bit more control. With the fan brush you have less control. I'm just going over and giving it that dimension on the top. So I'm leaving those gaps in there, and I'm not being perfect at all. My Christmas tree does not need to be perfect. It just needs to have the impression of the Christmas tree. Okay, so that's what it looks like with the lighter color on top. You can see that it's kind of looking a little bit more 3D. I'm going to lighten just a little bit more with my white, and you get kind of a sagey green, and just add a little bit more dimension in some areas, just along these edges. Okay, see how that adds a little more and it's making it look three-dimensional. That's really all you have to do, and I'm using a wispy motion. And for this layer, I'm just barely adding it to the tip. Okay, see how it's coming together? Oh, it's looking so good. Going up with this one to the top. And what's so great about Christmas trees is that they aren't perfect. They aren't, I love that. They all kind of have their own personalities. So you can just let them have their personalities when you're painting them too. Alright, then you're done with your Christmas tree part, and now we can get on to the decorations. Now the fun thing about the decorations is you guys can really get creative in this step. Play and put in colors and do lights or tinsel or whatever it is you guys want to do. This is the step to be creative. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to create my Christmas tree just by what I decide I want to do. And this will kind of help you with yours so you know how to create certain things on your Christmas tree. Okay, so on our palette we have this beautiful gold color, and this is actually a metallic color, so it's going to shimmer when the light is on it, and I'm going to use that for my star. So I'm basically just going to make a line going up, okay, and that's as far as I want my star to go, I think. Alright, and you know how you make a star when you're a kid, you're just like meh, 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 meh. Okay, I'm actually going to do that same thing just with my brush and then fill it in. And anything you don't want, you can just erase it with your brush. So I have this line that kind of comes out a little bit, and I'm just going to take it off with my brush because this isn't dry yet, and my paper towel. Okay, so gold is very translucent, so it's going to take a couple layers for this to really pop. Okay, now I can decide if I want to have maybe some garland or a ribbon. So I can use red for that. I've got blue here. I've got all these colors in this color palette. I'm going to go with red, and I'm going to use my round brush to kind of make it so that it's uneven in areas. And when I come here, I'm just barely going to show that there's some right here. So you don't want to have it like meh, 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 you know, perfect, because then it's not going to look fun and playful. Okay, so ribbon, when I put my ribbon on my Christmas tree, it's never perfect. So I'm just going to come in here and kind of give some ideas like, oh, here was some ribbon right here, and then it got into the tree and it disappeared. Okay, and I'm using my bright red for this so that it pops out. Okay, and I'm going to go down with this, and I'm going to make it a little thicker. So I'm just kind of stepping down here. I'm going to give it a nice one. Okay, I started thin and I put pressure on my brush, and that made it thicker right there. Okay, so that one's a nice one that kind of indicates that, oh yeah, there's ribbon in this tree. I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to put pressure on my brush and lift up. Okay, see how that's coming along? I'm going to go up a little bit more like this, and then it disappeared back there. I'm going to have the ribbon come around here, disappear, and then come back like that. See how that's a lot more fun and playful than going meh, 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 all the way down? I like sound effects, okay guys? So this one and this one look really similar, don't they? So I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to come up like that was connected. It just went behind something. Okay, I'm going to put a little ribbon right there. Okay, and then for this last one, it's going to sag. You know how it kind of sags at the bottom? And it goes all the way across. Maybe I'll have this even going up on this branch right here. Like that. It's pretty, huh? So if you find you need some red in some areas, you can just add that red. Like I felt like there was some balance that needed to happen right here, so that's why I did that. So when you're looking at this, you can add anything that you wish. Okay? So there's my red ribbon and how you would put a ribbon on. So ornaments are really fun. When you're putting ornaments on your tree, you're kind of looking for a space, right? And you're looking for balance in your tree. I don't know, maybe you just stick it up, but I do. I look for balance, and so I usually don't want two big round things right next to each other just like this. Okay, so I look to tear them down. Okay, now I'm going to start with white for my ornaments. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I have this dark green background background. And I'm going to put gold on it, and that's a translucent color. So in order for that color right there to be bright and stand out and not get muddy and dull, I have to have white over the top. I'm going to use my round brush to make my round shapes, okay? So I'm going to start here, and see how I just go in a circle motion like this? So that's all you need to do. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I have one there, so I'm going to put one right here. So I don't want to go directly down from here. I want to go a little bit over. So I'm going to come over here and put one way out here on top of this. Okay, now if I want to do lights, I'm going to do the same thing with my white, but I'm just going to do dots. Okay, and this, I guess this would be more like pearls. I guess with lights you would have a dot and then a dot further apart. So I'll show you both because I'm going to do both. Same thing you did with the ribbon. You just randomly select where it's hanging. And I like to get my lights on the very edges when I'm making my Christmas tree. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to keep going with my pearls or my popcorn, whatever it is. Now when your white's dry, you can go over your white with your gold. So I'm just going to fill in these because these are my gold ornaments. Like I said, you can make your ornaments any colors you want. Just a super simple Christmas tree painting. Just makes it really fun. Okay, I'm going to add a little blue for some other ornaments, okay? And these don't even need to look like anything. You know, just add in, like maybe that's a truck or it's a picture. All I am is giving the appearance like there's something else in this tree with that blue in different areas. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my dark blue and just give it a little shadow. Then I'm going to add a little bit of dark blue spots in here. Maybe they go down a little bit, kind of hang down. And see how it's starting to look more decorated because there's a little more busyness going on. And I'm going to go over the lights with my gold. So I have those tiny teensy little lights every once in a while. Okay, over my dark blue, I'm just giving it a striped line in the middle of it. This is just going to create a little more dimension. Make you wonder what it is. Oh, maybe it's one of those long ornaments. They're kind of fun. Okay, so around the lights, what I like to do is take a little bit of white and I just water it down so much that it's just going to be a tiny, tiny bit. And I'm just going to circle those lights. Okay, circle around them. That makes it appear like they're glowing. So what I'm going to do here is create a little more dimension for that star on the one side by making a gray color, and I'm going to make that gray very simply. I'm just going to take this blue, okay, right, I'm going to add a little bit of that gold because there's gold in my star, so I want it to be a complementary, I want it to harmonize with my star. So just adding that blue and the yellow, and it's going to make kind of a nice blue, a cooler gray color. Okay, and I'm just going to add some dimension on one side of my star. Okay, you can see if that's too dark for you or whatever. I'm gonna take it down just a notch. Okay, and I'm going on the outside of just one side of my star using the side of my brush here. Okay, so see how that gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay, so you can end right here if you would like. You have your beautiful Christmas tree, but I'm just going to create some really cool presents down here because that's just fun. So for this particular painting, I really wanted to have a clean white background because this tree is just gonna pop, and with inside of a gold frame or a dark wood frame, it's just gonna be like, wow. So I don't want to get too busy down here with my presents. I still want to keep that white crispness. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the back of this and not fill in any of this area except with the presents. So I'm using my flat brush for the presents, okay? Because there's a lot of edges and stuff in this. And we do not have to be perfect on the presents either. I want you to see how easy it is. So I'm just going to go like this. Okay, I'm just making a straight line and going down, and then I'm going to take that line and go up. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that, right? And then we can come in and add shadows and whatever else. So over here I'm going to create this type of edge. So you know how a present goes like that, and then we're going to create some dimension with this edge like that. Okay, see how that works? And then I'm going to go down like this. It's going to start looking like a box. Okay, and the trick is these have to be pretty parallel. Okay, so you want them going the same direction, but just curve it in just a teeny tiny bit because it has a vanishing point. Okay, so if you haven't learned about vanishing point yet, it's just where the two lines meet. It's very geometry stuff, okay? So, but all you have to do is make sure this is parallel to this and just go up just a teeny tiny hair. That's all. And same thing with this. Okay, and then you make your line right here. Okay, see how that works for the present? And then you're just gonna take this line, kind of go across like that, this line up like that, okay? And this one's gonna be a gold present, so I'm gonna give it some ribbon, some red ribbon. And you're gonna see why I put this red on here in just a little bit, because we're gonna go over it with gold and it's gonna have that part darker. Okay, so ta-da! There's a present. I'm going on to the dark blue, and I want that dark blue present over this area. I'm going to give it some gold too. So I'm going to just slant my line like I did before. Okay, because we want to cover this trunk. Okay, and then I'm just going to go up on this side like that. Okay, fill this in and let it just kind of taper off. And bring this down over. So this will have a little more dimension when we add some ribbon. Okay, take this one and have a nice little blue ribbon on top. Now check this out. All I do is have to go like this. Blob, blob, blob. There's my ribbon. Okay. Then I'm going to take this blue, I'm just going to go on the side here and right here on the top. Ta-da, that one's done. We don't need much more than that. Make this one back here a little the darker red. Alright, now you can add as many presents as you want doing the same thing. Just your squares. Anytime you use the gold, just remember you're going to need a couple layers. And overlapping the presents is ideal, because usually you don't have like just these presents lined up. You have several presents. So when you go to overlap them, just make sure that they are dry so you don't see that you don't mix your paints together. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my presents, overlapping, creating shapes. Okay, you can look at my picture as a reference, and I've give my reference photos to my Createful Art members. You can click right here to become a Createful Art member. One little thing that I want to mention is that when you're painting your presents, the more closer they are to you, the presents going back should be higher on the plane, okay? So they should be higher up. So of course, when I make this present and this present's behind these other presents, I need to make sure that it's also back further. Okay, so remember that gold we made, that gray we made with the gold and the blue? I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna create some shadow under here. So I'm just gonna come over under these presents. There's just a little shadow. So all these cracks in between these presents, they should have some shadow. And that's going to help your painting have some dimension. So when you're painting your ribbon, you're really just following the lines of your square. So I'm making this right here, and I like to use the edge of my brush and just use it on both sides so it's a nice flat ribbon across. Okay, and then I go back like this and it gives it that dimension it needs. Okay, it's a square box, and then I go across like it's an X, and then I stop at that edge right here. Okay, and then I go down, and then it looks like a ribbon. Okay, and then I can add the bow in any way. You know how I did it right there. Okay, I'm probably just gonna do the same thing, maybe a little more dimension here. Okay, go up like that. You can simply just create an edge if you didn't want to put a ribbon in. Okay, a lighter edge, and then a darker edge on the bottom because that's where the shadow is. Okay. When you're done decorating the tree the way you like, and you've put some presents under there and a little bit of shadow, then you can go ahead and sign your work, and then you're done. This will look so pretty in a nice gold frame. I hope you learned a lot from this tutorial and that you had fun painting with me. I just want to give a quick shout out to my Createful Art members for making this video possible. You can become a Createful Art member too and get weekly art lessons, get the reference photos for this and the color mixing videos right over here. Just click right here and you become a member. Also, there are more videos for you to enjoy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!